This is a detailed explanation on how to hire your children in your business and create wealth for them for the future. So most importantly, you have to have a business and you actually need additional employees. What you're paying them must be reasonable. As the IRS states, it needs to be ordinary and necessary expense. Because they're kids, we want to keep their salaries uh, reasonable as well. So we want to make sure we pay them between $70 and $450 per week based on their age. The maximum earnings for the year must be below $22,275 and come from the operations of the business, not a second job with earned income. This must be a business. You have to keep the salary out of the business between 30 and 38% of the revenue. Anything else will be a red flag. Um, if it's below, it's fine. So what kind of jobs can you give a kid, right? So we can do putting out the trash, clean the office, clean the car, shred paper, distribute flyers, and it really depends on the business type and how old they can be, how much you could pay them. So it really is a combination of all that. The general law that's been established is that your child must be between 7 and 17 for you to hire them. This is not specified in a tax code, but it has been tried in cases. If you hire a child below that age, it needs to be specific to your business. So you can hire your baby if you need a model who's a baby for your business. So we have to do after we have the business, after we have the money coming in, we need to set up time tracking for your employees. Um, so we don't need to be a LLC for this. We just need to make sure that we use Schedule C to show our income from the business, so a sole proprietor or a single member LLC. The most important thing is the boss must be one of both parents, so it has to be your kid. It can't be your really big LLC with lots of employees. It has to be a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC or a partner, two member LLC of you and your spouse. So we want to keep written records of our assigned time cards, just like their employees. There's two free ways that I've done it, Trello.com and YokoBoard.com. And YokoBoard is true time tracking, and Trello is more like task tracking, but you can make it look like time tracking. And we just want to make sure that the child can use these two solutions actually on their phone and slide their tasks over to the done state and track that work. So there's no need for a full payroll. Actually, payroll will require them to be a certain age. So we need to transfer money directly to their custodial bank accounts. So that's why we really can't use payroll. So you need to go through the hiring process and keep everything on file. So they have to have a resume, and I would update it annually to add more skill sets to what they can do. You have to have an offer letter. You have to have a job description. And every time you increase their income, you need to update the job description. And you need to show that they can perform those tasks and actually do the work. You have to have an I-9 form with copies of their birth certificate and SSN card on file. So even though you have the actual birth certificate and SSN, you need to have copies of it filed with your I-9 with your business. You need to have a written employment agreement signed by all parties, even though they're under 18. They can sign it as long as you're signing it. You need to have a state employee ID and make sure you're not breaking any state laws. Um, some businesses can't hire children for them because the federal government or the state government says you're not allowed to hire kids because either the job is too dangerous, something of that nature. So you need to make sure you're not breaking any laws. Um, on the W-4 that they fill out, you need to make sure that they check exempt. Even if you're going to go over the lower limits of taxes, choose exempt because we'll figure all that out later at the end of the year. Um, and then on the W-4 state, again, claim exempt from taxes as well. Now remember that the state only mimics the federal. So whatever situation we figure out for income above certain minimums, the state will just mimic that and there'll be no issues at the state. Now, worked all year at the end of the year, we want to do the W-2, W-3, 940, all right? We want to, and that'll show how much wages they made. We're going to make sure we know that employees under 21 do not have to pay any fees, even if above the $7,000 threshold on Form 940. That's tax code, and you're not planning on hiring them above 17 as a child. You're going to do different things when they hit 18. If you have any 940 fees, you have to pay them, not the child. And for the W-2, you want to make sure you only have wages in box 1, and your W-2 will be created by your W-3, right? So you fill out your W-3 online, and that kicks out your W-2, and then you're going to file your 1040 for earned income above 12,400. So this is the end of the year. If your child made more than 12,400 for the year 2020, you're going to file your 1040 for those wages above 12,400. If they don't have income above that, you don't need to file your 1040. All right. So now, what do we do with this money now that your child has earned income? I wouldn't spend it on Netflix or Hulu or, you know, cable bills, anything that's normal operations or just extra for the child. I wouldn't do that. I would put the money in a Roth IRA first. All right. And then after you combine your RA with other funds, you can buy investment properties. All right. So when you buy an investment property, now you have 4 more sources of income. You have appreciation, depreciation, cash flow, and principal reduction. So you can really blow up their account. All right. Um, if you want to do 529s for their schooling, you know, it's not the best option because your Roth IRA can pay for education. But if you have more money coming in than the Roth will allow, you're maxed out at 6,000 in 2020. You can put money in 529 to pay for school. So now we have all these ways to make them additional money for their future. What about your future? Well, now you have tax savings. So let's maximize your 401k based on this tax strategy. Let's increase your 401k amount based on this additional income. All right. And now we can adjust your W-4 based on the strategy. So if you already have your 401k maxed out, let's bring more money in at home from your earned income if you have any. The sooner you start, the better. If your child is 7 years old right now, you could claim them for $4,800 worth of income. And by the time they're 18, in the mutual fund, it would be almost $10,000. And as they grow next year, 2021, when they're 8 years old, $5,600. And then the mutual fund when they're 18, $10,000. That's not even if you implement the real estate tax strategy I had discussed, right? And every year it increases. By the time they're 17, let's assume the federal government increased the amount that they can make by $200 every year, $24,000 worth of income, and now they have almost $180,000 in a mutual fund to do whatever they want. School up to $46,000 is paid for, and it's beautiful. You can use your Roth IRA to purchase their first home. Um, you can use that Roth IRA to pay for any education like I discussed, and if you have a medical issue, your Roth IRA can pay for that as well. So it almost functions as an HSA. All right, so up next is a quick demo on how you can set up your business and what values you should be putting in based on your kid's age and things like that. So this is detailed on how you can set this up, and the spreadsheet comes along for free. Just reach out to me via the description in the video below. All right, so this is the spreadsheet that I promised. These numbers are based on the 2020 tax year. Really simple to use. We only want to enter in values where it's orange. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 values to worry about. All right, I'm going to choose our filing status, jointly separated head of household. Don't choose child here, please. And then over here, we want to just keep it as child. We're going to enter in this taxable income based on our kids' ages, right? And we want to input our earned income and business income. So let's try it out. So let's say we're a single mom, right? And we have a 10-year-old. That's it. And we have income of 70,000 and business income of 10,000. So the maximum we could put in for them is 3,800. So here's 3,800. So let's put that in here, right? So they're not going to pay any income tax, all right? Their effective tax rate is 0. And then based on their income, you can get 146 extra dollars in your paycheck every week, all right? So that's simple. Let's go married filing jointly scenario. All right, let's suppose we make 120,000. Business income of let's say 50,000, and we have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, maybe a 17-year-old. Right. Maximum income we could put in was 29,000, but based on their ages, we shouldn't do that much. We should make it 19,000. Let's make it 19,000. Again, no income tax for either one of them, and we should adjust our 401k W4 HSA strategy by $730. That's simple to use. Update these numbers here based on 2021 taxes when that time comes. This number here is going to change based on this number here. So all these wages will change appropriately, they increase over time. And that is it. You'll see the second tab here, different job types. I'll update these regularly. These are just a couple sampling, so you have it. The other spreadsheet you're going to get is just a list of expenses that you can put in. You probably already have this, but it's business travel, business use of personal property, capital expenses intangible, charitable donations, cost of goods sold, educational expenses, insurance premiums, interest expenses, investment expenses, job hunting expenses, medical and dental, military expenses, mortgage expenses, other business expenses, other work-related expenses, payroll expenses, property or monetary, spelled that wrong, losses, state, local, and foreign tax preparation expenses, and taxes. And it's a total of 300 plus list. Just so that you have it, so you don't worry about like, gosh, am I missing something in my taxes for my expenses on my business? You have it all here. So that is it. So how do you get an established business? Do you already have one? Do you need one? If you need one, contact me. I'll show you one that has low startup costs. It has $10,000 in annual revenue, so you can take advantage of your child's salary. It's based on your existing skill sets, and I'll show you how. And you can use your own tax professional to implement this. Just contact me at info@jlrtax.com.